wondering if you had any tips for organizations looking to become more innovative or to break the mold, so to speak.
So my sense on that one is that we need to create safe places, dedicated spaces where we can think outside the box. Regular staff meetings are not the place. There's too much kind of gruel. But the opportunity to kind of say, okay, let's create this meeting or this time where we can really think outside. Like, if we could do anything, what would it be? If we could actually solve this problem in our community, how might we approach it? And you kind of create a no negative zone, right? You brainstorm and you kind of play, but what you're doing is you're trying to figure out how do I not create my own mental blocks and stops, so that what happens, some of the best ideas are sitting right there. They're jewels, they're gems, they're sitting there, but we've created this negativity around the space that tells us no. And I guess I'm just not a really big believer on no. So if you can find some ways to say yes, that's, I think, the way to do it.
A lot of community groups, I think one of the biggest barriers to maybe moving forward with certain ideas is lack of time. Lack of time for staff members or whoever, lack of time to engage others. Like, do you have any advice for how to kind of provide that space, not just the physical space, but any way to provide this time space for people to actually sit down and be able to imagine ideas or think? Because oftentimes we come to a meeting and people just want to rush out and get to the next thing. Like, how do you have that time for them to think?
So everybody has the same amount of time. And it's really about priority. And so, my feeling is that I have this concept that I've been evolving for a while, which I call a magnetic attractor. So a magnetic attractor is a threat or an opportunity. And one of the challenges is that we say, oh, we'll engage the community, we'll do this or we'll do that. Well, the question is why? What is the threat or opportunity which is galvanizing people together? So the question is, what do you want to do? And how much do you want to do it? Because you will make the time if you feel motivated about what that is. Now, usually, threat is a way faster galvanizer, right? It's way easier if somebody's threatening to take down something that you love, or somebody's threatening to do this. This is a great galvanizer. So the animator, the community animator, is looking for those larger patterns. The animator is saying, I'm going to use this threat as a way to weave social capital, so that when we have the next threat or the next opportunity, that we've built the relationships, that we've built those the form and the structure, that we can then leverage those threats or opportunities more quickly. So it's not about time, it's about priority. And one of the challenges of the activist is, how do you take the issue that you care deeply about and how do you position it so that it becomes a threat or opportunity that the community cares about?
Right.
It's a big challenge, but that's the work.
And you make small spaces for that too, with things like your salad club, right? If you want to talk about that a bit.
Absolutely. So Salad Club, just because it's a great one and you should rip it off. Salad Club is an opportunity that we host every single week in every one of our 4 locations, where people are invited to co-create a salad bar. And we bring 2 items from our homes or from the local store, lettuce and cheese or bean sprouts and tomatoes and what have you. And we co-create a giant salad bar, and we eat salad together. And it's a really, every revolution starts in the kitchen. And the best social capital is built around food and drink. And this is an opportunity for people to connect with one another. And you start simply. And then, what are the threats or opportunities that emerge out of those relationships?
Good. Lastly, I think we just kind of wanted to touch on, a lot of times this work can be kind of frustrating, especially if you're trying to collaborate with others and trying to get them to see aligned priorities and all that. Like, what keeps you motivated in your work?
So I would say small wins. Right? It really helps to take on projects that are small enough that we can actually achieve them in a reasonable amount of time. And then as you build momentum and you build success, then you build a track record that allows you to build more things. And I think one of the challenges that we have as, citizen activists is that we want to change the whole world, and we want to do it now.
Yeah.
Like we have to do it all. But the reality is that you need to build trust in your community, and you also need to build a reasonable strategy for your supporters. So how do you figure out what are the easy wins? And how do you go from win to win? You can have some failures, but how do you incorporate those failures into the next building for the next success? So, one of the arts is taking the big picture and bringing it down to a reasonable sized project that you can actually feel good about. And you can revel in your own success and go on to the next one.
Great, thank you.
Cool.